Oh, hey, Dohaga. Well, now that I know you're here, let's get started. Yeah, no problem. So I'm just gonna watch like the first little bit, probably like the first fight or so, see where you're at, and then I'll start talking. Okay. Okay, cool. There's actually a lot here. There's a lot here. This is really good. Okay. So I'm just gonna kind of like walk through the good and the bad of all of this because there's kind of both. Bastion bot and coaching requests, awesome. What's in the pipeline today? Well, we got this gold sig to start. At some point, there's a Bastion VOD from Zeta, but otherwise, I haven't really checked. That's what we're looking at right now. Anyway, so we're walking up with the cart. We're kind of using, like, we're not fully in front of the cart. We're kind of alongside it so we can back up behind it, use it for cover, whatever. And I especially like your target prioritization here, yeah? In that you are poking out this hog. You put your shield down to block his hook so he can't get a one-shot on somebody. Otherwise, you'd want it up here where it would break pretty quickly because of these two, but at least, you know, you'd protect your team a bit. But because of the hog here, it's a good shield placement, and you're poking him out, so he, like, has to leave. You're not fucking around with the Rhine or the people you can't really do much about. So far, so good. A little trick with the rock there. Look at the timing. Ooh, sorry. So, he peeks, and when he goes to hide, you start... Wait, oh, I think I missed the peek. Yeah. After he hides, you start collecting the rock. But look at his peak timing. So you would just wait until he peeks you, and then start gathering the rock as he's going behind cover, and hope that he misses that, because you... Yeah, so then he peeks the rock as it comes out. Otherwise, it's just not really going to work because of the wind-up time from the rock, yeah? But whatever. You push forward a little bit far, but I want to talk about the suck, because it was actually good, but... You want to use your suck to kind of take positioning, and you just sort of used it randomly. You did come around the cart this way, which normally would be great, but because you're using your suck specifically, and you get shield health for everything you eat, you want to soak up damage right now, as well as use it to get to your next position. So I'll go into why in a second, but you really wanted to use that to cross all the way into here. Yeah? Like I said, this is like tiny stuff so far. This is like really no big deal. It's not going to cause any problems in this game, but it's like one of those things where, like, you know, it just makes it a little bit cleaner, a little bit more efficient, and every little bit of improvement helps, and that's something that's just super simple, yeah? Okay, we want to cross, so we're just going to use our suck, and we're going to walk straight across. Not a huge change, but easy as hell, yeah? So, anyway. The reason we want to cross here, and actually this is really the biggest problem with your entire approach here. You played most of this really well, but you stay on the cart the whole time, and you keep pushing it up with the cart. And here's the thing. You're not Reinhardt. And you guys don't have a Reinhardt, nor should you have a Reinhardt. Reinhardt's dog shit. Everyone below Diamond wants their Reinhardt, and everyone above Diamond will flame you if you pick him. So, but I guess one of the common misconceptions is that all tanks sort of tank the same way, and they just, you know, different hero abilities, but it's not true. You don't have a Reinhardt. None of you can play where Reinhardt plays. If you want to play front and center, walking into them face first, play Reinhardt, because that's what he does, more or less. Yeah? Sigma, though, you want to keep them at arm's length, and you want it to be really hard for them to walk on you, because you only have 400 HP. and all of your abilities are ranged. Once they get within, like, close to you, it's really hard for you to land your shots, and it's really easy for them to kill you. So you keep them at arm's length, and you spam them out. So instead of walking up here, you might spam this corner from here, because your shots self-destruct. So they'll come around this corner and do a little bit of damage to anyone that's waiting around it, yeah? And then we can use this to try to push over here and start harassing the back line. You have your cooldowns to live, so you can always back out, you know, shield, suck, whatever. And you have cover, unlike here where you're pushing through open space, yeah? So here, if they break your shield, if they turn around to look at you, they can't actually really kill you, yeah? Your whole team's right here. We can all agree that poking your head out right here is just incredibly safe, even though you're right next to the team, yeah? So if they choose to push you, they overextend into your team and break LOS of their team and they die. So this is just, like, incredibly strong, yeah? And then the biggest thing it does, this is, like, a massive fundamental that's going to probably change how you look at this game and tanking altogether. So your team's pushing up with the cart this way, so they're kind of shooting this way, you're shooting this way, yeah? Or, you know, you have a whole field of view, but you're creating this crossfire. So the enemy team, they're right here, they have a choice. They can deal with the people walking into them, or they can turn around and look at the SIG that's shooting them in the back for free. And anyone who turns around to look at the SIG who's shooting them in the back for free has to turn away from your team, so they cannot be shooting at your team. This is the literal definition of making space, yeah? You are drawing aggro away from your team so they shoot you instead, but you have to do it in such a way that they can't actually kill you. They can't actually get to you, nor can they just ignore you, because if they do, they'll die. It puts them in an impossible situation where their only choice is to back up far enough that these two angles, this crossfire, essentially becomes one that they can deal with in a single direction, yeah? The definition of making space. You have to take an off angle to your team. You can walk in with them like this, how you did, and then you use that to cross, so you can then push the enemy back. And then maybe you could, like, come up here and create an even wider angle. And now that you're on a high ground, it's even harder for them to get to you, yeah? So you're even safer. When I play with Ryan or other main tank on SIG, I usually try to off-angle more, but in this instance, I was worried about giving free reign to Hog for hooks. So that's legit. And here's where some of, like, SIG gets really complicated, or tanking, like, off-tank, really, because it's going to be the same thing with pretty much any of the off-tanks. You're going to have, generally speaking, a defensive goal and an offensive goal. And you have two options here, right? So, like, Hog's hook is on a cooldown. So you can walk up here, like I mentioned, spamming that corner, have your shield ready, and as soon as you block the hook, we drop our shield, and then we take this angle, because now the thing that we were afraid of, a legitimate fear, to be fair, is gone for a few seconds, at least, yeah? And then we create this chaos here, maybe we get the Hog looking at us, whatever, and if not, we can come back to our team, do that thing again, and split again. Usually you're not really going to want to do that, but sometimes it's exactly what you need to do, is just come back and then split again, and then come back and then split again, yeah? And it would be the same with, like, Diva, even another Roadhog. You might, like, look to hook the enemy Roadhog in, so even if he gets away, he had to use his vape, and he can't really play aggro, and then you can go over here and do something. I don't know, whatever. You know, you can get creative, but it's this idea of, I got a legit fear, so I'm going to solve that, and then do this thing that needs to happen, yeah? Because so long as you are all in one area, all of the enemy fire is concentrated in one area, which makes it, like, your shield will just evaporate. People will blow up so easy, even in a low elo where people aren't intentionally stacking their cooldowns and their fire to blow somebody up. It'll just happen on accident here, because it just happens to be where everyone is shooting, yeah? I was going somewhere with this, but it's gone because I'm ADHD. So I think I talked a lot anyway. I'm just going to watch you play a little bit more. And let's see what else we got. Oh, right. This is the other thing. You're managing your shield fairly well, but I think some of it is either on accident or like you have good instincts, but not like the knowledge to do it on purpose every time. So what you're looking to do with your shield is not to block random spam or to throw it out randomly. You did mention you're looking to block this hog hook. Like, I know for a fact you're looking to block the shield with your hog hook. That's fucking excellent. But I want you to think about your shield as that for everything. Any cooldown you're afraid of, you use your shield or your suck to deal with. So hog hook, legit fear. But also Ash Dynamite and Ana Nade, you really want to be watching for and eating or blocking those. And then Junkrat, you need to be really careful, because if Junkrat can just evaporate your shield. He can literally one-clip your shield and it's gone. So you can't shield too much of his spam. But his one-shot combo is that nade mine going out at the same time. And if you see that, you should absolutely block or eat it, because it might land on a teammate and just kill them. Like, there's shit all you can do about it, because it's 240 that goes off at once. So if you can stop it, that's great. So, like, we put our shield out as we're peeking this corner, and, like, that shield I didn't really think had a purpose. Versus right now, if you threw it out right now, I don't even know if this guy has hook. I haven't been tracking it. He doesn't have hook. So if you've been tracking the hook, you know you don't even need to deploy your shield yet. If you hadn't been tracking the hook, maybe you throw it out just in case. But it would be after you turn this corner. Where it is right here, all it does is break. Yeah? And then to give you one last... Not last. There's other uses for your shield for sure. But to give you one more important one that you should be thinking about, this Reinhardt has to get in melee range to do shit to you. Yeah? He has to walk into you. His supports do not want to walk in with him. I mean, the Mercy's going to be hanging out with the DPS. Mostly I'm talking about this Ana. Ana can't W in with Reinhardt unless she wants to die, yeah? So if you put your shield out behind the Reinhardt when he walks in, this gold asshole is going to walk right through it, start swinging, and die, because he isn't going to consider the fact that his Ana can't possibly help him. She just can't heal through the shield, yeah? So whenever you see, like, even this hog, either one, like, trying to push into your team, you can put your shield in front of the hog to block his damage, or you could put it behind either one of them to block the healing they're receiving to try to blow them up. Options to consider. Whoop-ah. Okay. And then Rock, it's the same thing. So, like, Rock isn't a ton of damage, and it's a wind-up. And it's a slow projectile. Like, if you're just trying to damage somebody, you just shoot them, yeah? But Rock is really, really, really strong, not just for being the stun that it is, but specifically because stuns are cancels. So think in advance about what you might want to cancel. You can cancel Whole Hog, and you can cancel Vape. So I would be watching for those. And you can... Canceling Vape is hard because of your wind-up time, but you can usually predict it, and that's what you're going for. Is, like, I've shot this Hog a couple of times, he's about half health, and he's starting to turn around. He's leaving to Vape, yeah? Like, you can usually predict when the Hog's about to Vape, and you pre-fire the Rock so it lands as he pulls his Vape out. He doesn't get the healing, he dies. It's huge. Ash, you can rock Bob when he's coming out to fuck up his positioning. That can be nice. And you can rock Ryan's Shatter if you predict it. And you can rock his pin if you're sick and you have enough time. Yeah? Beyond that, you don't really have much to rock unless you, like... Yeah, you don't really have much to rock. You could also rock the Hog if he hooks somebody. But again, you kind of have to predict that. So mostly we are hard focusing this hog with our rock, and then we're just sort of looking for like the occasional other small opportunity if we need it, but we're basically saving our rock for this guy because it's the only thing that we can reliably cancel on a regular basis. And then we're really getting value out of our rock because the rock's only like 50 damage, and you shoot for 110 if you land both direct. So like, was it 50 damage? Maybe it's 60. It's not a lot. Dang. Yeah. So here you walked into them was the big problem. So, running it down mid is like the default thing that everyone does. And when I say mid, what I mean is the middle lane. So basically all of these maps, they get funky and weird sometimes in some places, but for the most part, it's 3 lanes. So you got the cart in the middle, mid. We got this outer lane, we got this outer lane, and then, hey, the lanes even intersect to create like a 3x3 sort of grid-ish. You get what I'm saying. It's a little bit funky, but I mean, right here is just clear as day is 3 lanes, and that's usually how they do it. The middle lane, by default, or whichever lane the cart path is on, the objective, etc., as an intentional design choice in this game, they did this on purpose, is almost always a low ground with little to no cover, surroundable by high grounds with cover, yeah? It's a death trap. It is a shooting gallery. You come here to die. So this, taken in conjunction with the fact that, like, when I mentioned earlier, Sig thrives when he can keep the enemy at arm's length and dies when they walk on him, this will rarely, if ever, be your lane. Like I said, there is some strength to pushing in together as 6, because you can kind of concentrate your fire and your resources to push in. But as soon as you get an opportunity to split, you really want to split and start holding another lane. Talked about that, but here's the big thing. You can usually, like some games, I really don't mind your very first attempt just walking it down mid. Like your very, very first push, sure, whatever. Because like sometimes it works. Sometimes you just sort of walk into them and win. And this other positioning, A, it takes time, and B, in your ELO, getting your team to play around you is, we'll say, hit or miss. Yeah, sometimes it'll happen, but So like your first, taking the time to go take a long rotation and really good positioning early will probably just result in your team suiciding without you. It's unfortunate. So yeah, your first attempt, you walked it down. Cool. But now that this has stalled out, this fight is lost, instead of continuing to try to walk it down, continuing with our same plan, take this time while your team is regrouping to take the ideal position, the one that you really want. And the one that you really want is to walk up these stairs and hold this. Master of all that you survey, yeah? I mean, they can outrange you from here, but, like, you got cover. All you got to do is back up. People coming from spawn can help you if you back up enough. You can also, like, shoot from here to help your team get around this corner. Like, this is so insanely strong, and you see so much. And you can kind of use your cooldowns to just drop off the edge, come here, and then rotate up to here as another position. I hope the reasons why are making sense, and if they aren't, I will so gladly go into them in more depth, because it's incredibly important that you, like, really understand this deep in your bones sort of thing. But to simplify it as an almost hard, fast rule, high ground off angles are your best friend. Anytime, like, you're slow, and I get that, and it can be annoying to take them, and sometimes you just will not have the time. But anytime, and I do mean anytime, you can find the time to take them, please don't forget about them. This is just so insanely powerful for you, in particular on Sigma. Yeah? Especially starting in gold, Like, there's some nuance here. There are times you wouldn't want to be up here. There are times you would need to drop, etc. But if you just take this as a hard, fast rule to always be up on these always and forever, you'll be wrong more often than you're right, and you'll probably hit plat on the strength of that alone. Like, it makes sense for sure. I definitely force default too much. Cool. It's a super common problem. I do it too. Like, I definitively know better, and I will run it down mid sometimes. Try to just catch yourself when you're doing it, yeah? Like I said, I think it's fine to try it once. But if it's not going to work, you don't want to keep trying it, yeah? If it didn't work the first time, it probably won't work in the future, because now the enemy has ult charge. And you have ult charge too, so maybe you just out-ult them and win with ults, and that can be legit, but, you know, I think my point stands. I think you can try it once, and then you do your best to get your team to take those high grounds with you. They don't have to, is part of it. So, like, don't flame them if they don't, and you definitely don't want all of them with you. Because remember what I talked about taking split angles, that whole map control thing? You don't want all of them with you, but if you get the Mercy pocket, like Mercy and Ashe to come with you, or if you get just your Zen to come with you, like you two together, it makes the angle that you're taking, which is already strong, like OP. It is so fucking hard to dive a Zen with a Sig sat on top of him, yeah? They have to send probably 3 people to take a 3v2 if they want to kill you, which means your team's taking a 4v3. Like, boom. You know, it's hit or miss. Maybe, hey Zen, come flank with your Sig. Maybe he's like, fuck yeah, he asked me to flank. I'm gonna do that shit. And maybe he just ignores you because he's a gold Zen. But I think it's worth a try, yeah? Try to get like one person who, heck, I said one DPS, I'm counting Zen as a DPS. Try to get one person who does a lot of damage with you, and one support maybe to help the two of you out. If you can get both of those, that's awesome. If you get just one of those, it's still really, really good. And if you get none of them, it is still better for you to do it by yourself, yeah? If you can do it and live, do it yourself. Hey, Nawaf. And I guess the tiny bit of nuance there is sometimes taking these angles, they'll run you down and they'll kill you, yeah? So you need to be careful about the timing when you go. And if it's not working, if you can't take the angle, then you gotta try something else, and that's legit. Ranked is a shit show. There's best practices, but that doesn't mean they work 100% of the time, yeah? Dang. Oh, good, you're doing the melee. Yay! I was wondering if you knew that, but you do. Awesome. Can you ask me? You can ask me whatever you would like. Okay, so the suck and then the rock. So you have multiple cooldowns that can deal with this, and I don't mind you using one, but in this moment, well, for multiple reasons, you wouldn't really want to use more than one, because either it's like right now where it's just the Bob. Who cares? So, like, you just rock him around this corner and you leave. Like, that was great. Look at the knockback. It's now useless. Or you let your Reaper do his thing, because Reaper can just fully tank a Bob if you shoot him in the head. But if the enemy was still here, if this had been a much better timed Bob, and you turned your back on the enemy team and used multiple cooldowns and etc., that's basically the purpose of Bob. It's the purpose of you as well, is to get people to turn away from the enemy team, yeah? So you want to be really careful about that. In this moment, it literally does not matter. I just kind of wanted to point that out for the future, yeah? Whoop. Oh, yeah, am I LGBTQ or support them? I'm both. I am very queer. I am bisexual. I am hella gay married. So, there isn't... dealing with tire, because we just heard that tire go off. Yeah, that's not your tire, that's theirs. Okay. Nice. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a second, but you heard that tire, and you heard it kind of behind you. try to look around and break it, because you can one-shot the tire if you land both directs. It's hard as shit, but you can. You can also try to shield the tire from your team. That is also hard as shit. But, like, I think it's worth the try. Ultimate like that can really roll your team, especially when they're, like, in open space and exposed like this. It didn't happen, so, like, that's great. But the fact that you didn't look around for it is a little bit worrying. I'm not saying you just hard W away from your team, but you would more, like, want to, like, back to a corner. You can't just turn your back on these assholes, but you hadn't pushed out too far yet, so you just come to a corner and you look for it and you try to break it. Help your team. I'm going to be honest, when it comes to sexuality, I just don't know. Man, sexuality is fluid. In addition to being a spectrum, that shit changes all the time. This is easier said than done, but IMO, I just try not to stress about it. I like who I like. I'm attracted to who I'm attracted to. And it doesn't mean shit beyond the fact that I think they're sexy. Like... Okay, yeah, and so, like, here, we just pushed in ahead of our team a little bit early. This is... Usually I give this to main tanks, but honestly, this is, like, one of the single best pieces of advice I can give to any role, any hero in the game. It just mostly tends to be tanks that are the worst about it, because you guys tend to be, you know, towards the front. You're in front of your team, yeah? You're watching the enemy. Generally speaking, you have a pretty good handle on what the enemy front line is doing. But you have no idea what the fuck is going on behind you. As a, like, mechanical habit, like muscle memory you want to build in, every 3 to 5 seconds. We just take a quick flick, glance, and we see where people are. And especially before you press the W key on your keyboard, do a flick and just see where they are. And you won't... Your decision making is going to go through the fucking roof, because it turns out most people aren't dumb. You had no idea what was going on, so you made what was in the moment a bad decision. Yeah? Being more aware of your team, both when they are good players and when they are bad, is incredibly useful. You just need that information to make the best choice possible, yeah? Okay. We whiffed it. It's unfortunate. The thing about comboing ults, you have a choice between, you can stack or stagger. You would want to stagger your ults, which is what you just did. Reaper went and then you went after, when the first one is about getting out some key cooldowns, such as Lamp. And maybe that was the plan. Maybe he went and then you went. IMO, I think your ult is really good for getting Lamp out, because, I mean, A, it gets the Lamp out, but then the whole team is also low from that, or not the whole team, whoever you got in your ult is low from it, so then the ult that comes after breaks the Lamp and finishes them off super easy. But in a situation like this, you probably wanted to stack them. And again, I have no idea what comms are like. He probably didn't say, I'm going to ult here. Like, you probably had no idea he was about to press Q. That's legit. But then since you pressed Q in response, you really wanted to lift people basically immediately. And you kind of hesitated on your ult, yeah? Oh. So. Oh my gosh. Let me do this a little bit better so we can actually see. Boom. So. Q. Oh, wait. Here we go. Yeah. Q, Q, click. Like, basically, as soon as you hit it, you wanted to lift these people up. That you would have only gotten the Sig, but then the Sig would be half health, and he would be closer to your team. He wouldn't have made it out to regroup. Yeah? Uh-oh. They lost one. There wasn't a plan. I saw he ulted as I ulted, so I just tried to hold as long as possible. Gotcha. Okay, so the good and bad of that decision making. you saw that he ulted, you reacted to your teammate, and you tried to combo, tried to, like, make something happen, because 2 ults usually are going to have an easier time finding success than 1. I love that. I genuinely love that that's where your head's at. The part of that plan that was wrong is the bit where you're like, I should hold this as long as possible and then go after, versus I should hit it right now. Unless, to be fair, if you were thinking about this lamp, then maybe that's different. But I didn't see the BAP there, and I didn't see the lamp come out, so I don't know that that was the thing. Cool. Good kill. So, like, when you're just running down a single person, by all means, literally just run them down and kill them. Like, there was nothing whatsoever wrong with that. Hooray. But, in other situations, just to show you this, yeah? You didn't make a mistake. But, like, other times, if it was more than just the one person, if you couldn't just run them down and get a kill, try to push up here. Everyone forgets about these stairs below a certain elo, but, so, like, if the enemy team chooses to hold here, which is sadly not uncommon, you're shooting them. You're shooting them in the back. You're pushing them out this way. You could, like, kite out as your team pushes the cart up and around, so you'll have LOS of them and cover, and etc. Outer lanes are your best friends. Cool. So the suck was just sort of random, yeah. That was a good shield, though. That was a really good shield. If you want, I can get the code for you. There is a workshop mode called Sigma Reaction Time Tool, or Sigma Reaction Tool, something like that. And it just spawns an enemy mid-ult in a random part of the room, and you have to react with the correct cooldown in time to block it. So it's like, you have to... I think you have to rock the Genji blade, you have to eat the Mei ult, and you have to shield something else, like maybe the Pharah barrage, because if you get your shield into her face fast enough, she kills herself from the splash before she breaks the shield. So that can be like a really, really good one for getting just fucking cracked on your abilities and making sure you're reacting with the right one and using them with a little bit more purpose, yeah? Ooh. Honestly, that was perfectly fine ability usage there. It just, look at how many... I'm sorry, look at how many assists it took to bring you down. 5 people. It took 5 of their 6 to kill you. Literally, only the... Wait, even the Mercy... So who didn't... The Genji. The Genji is the only one that didn't get an assist credit or a kill. Like, goddamn. So yeah, not that much you can do there. That's just the GG. Go next. So, okay. I think you're thinking about it, but this could be maybe a little bit better, because you see the Genji here, and you start to ignore him, but then I see you turn around and look at him, like, you suddenly realize maybe I shouldn't be ignoring this dude. I'm not sure what was in your head, but, when I talk about, like, how you thrive on these outer lanes, one of the biggest reasons isn't just the off-angle pressure that I was talking about that makes space for your team. That's, like, half of it. The other half is denying this shit. If you're holding here And, like, you just play these stairs, and remember, you play at the edge of your range. So when your orbs self-destruct, you still get the splash damage, even if you missed the direct. So we're just playing up and down these stairs, which means this guy doesn't get to use them to get behind your team. Yeah? And now his only option is to cross across all of you and come here, where it will just be painfully obvious what he's doing. Now in gold, most of your team, most games, will watch that Genji cross, and the moment he's out of their LOS, forget about him entirely and die to him. That's legit. There's only so much you can do. But if you're denying an entire flank angle, an entire lane from the enemy team, your job, or your team as a whole, like, everything just got so much easier for everyone. In addition to your ability to use this yourself, deny it from enemy flankers. That's like a major part of your job. And, like, how many games have you lost because of, like, some asshole flanker that is just constantly popping up on your poor supports? Like, it's probably a lot of games. And you personally can fix that. And, like, that's the big thing, though, is, like, the way you want to peel for your backline is not to sit on top of your backline, but instead to cut off or block, deal with in some way, whoever it is that's coming for them before they ever get the chance to engage. You catch them out early and push them out. Whether or not you kill them, they just don't get to do shit. Yeah? Cool. Yeah. I realize I'm laying down kind of a lot of big concepts. So, like, if any of this is confusing, if you have questions about literally anything, please let me know. I just want to see. Huge shatter, tries to pin in, but you guys just don't have time to touch. Okay. Yeah. The only thing to say here, really, is if you don't take this angle, if you do push down mid, and, like, actually, this is something I should have mentioned when you chased down that Ashe. Sorry. So, like, you pushed down mid, you killed that Ashe earlier, or, like, you're pushing down mid now, whatever reason you chose to push down this way, good or bad, continue that push to here. And now we have an angle. And we have cover that we can, like, dance around, and we can do something that is way more effective for our team. Yeah? We draw aggro away from them from a position of safety. Okay, cool. Oh, whoops, went too far. Okay.
Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
So, I don't know if this hog is in voice. Maybe you could have communicated with him, maybe not. I'm just giving you an idea that's gonna, like, it's gonna depend game to game if you can pull the shit off, yeah? But, or if you queue ever with another tank, this can be something you guys, like, practice and coordinate and just start clearing lobbies with. Combos like this, yeah? So you have your shield out. I don't really mind it. You're kind of, like, helping your hog out here. He's going for the cheeky pick. You see this hog walking up. You say, hog, I'm going to rock their hog in 3, 2, 1. And then he pops out, hooks the stunned hog who now can't really do shit about it, and pull him out. So, boom, you rock him right there. Like, you used your suck and hid, and we re-peek that corner with our rock, because he won't be expecting it. Your hog hooks him, he dies. That level of coordination is very, we'll say, unlikely to pull off in gold, but sometimes you can. And like I said, if you duo with somebody, it's really not that hard to do something like that, even with kind of low mechanical skill, if you practice it a couple of times together. Yeah? So, you know, duo with a tank, do, like, shit like that. You comboing rocks with other abilities can be free picks if you have somebody you can combo with. Oh. And, like, one other thing I haven't really been seeing too much here bounce your shots more. So, like, you didn't have to peek this Mercy after she went in there. You shot her, boom. And now your next shot should hit this little sidewall here, so it bounces and ricochets in here. And the likelihood of it hitting her is so high because it's a tiny room and it'll bounce around everywhere. I'm doing with the Hog in this game, actually. Oh, amazing. Yeah, then you two should absolutely work on that. Like I said, it sounds fairly simple. Getting the timing right, you got to try it a few times and feel it out. Yeah, you're going to fuck it up the first couple of times. Honestly, go into a practice range and just do it on bots a couple of times and then go into a game together and try it. It's like free picks. You rock them, he hooks them. Or if you play either of you play a Risa, one of you pulls and then the other rocks or hooks the pull, depending.
I've sighted the enemy.
Duoing is really nice because, you know, you got that one person you can kind of rely on that you at least know is listening to you and shit. But don't forget that there are some truly broken combos in this game. And if you just have somebody you can practice them with, you can just be pulling them off in gold lobbies all the goddamn time and not be in gold lobbies anymore. Hey, non-toxic, at work so can't really watch, but just wanted to say hi. Oh, hi! Welcome, welcome. Cool. So,
It's playing again.
I've touched on this, but playing max range, not letting them walk on you, combine those two things, and what you have is called kiting, yeah? I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term. I think it came from World of Warcraft, maybe. But it's this idea of maintaining your spacing. So, let me see when you fire a shot. Ah! My bad. Whee! Sorry. What's this? Boom. That's damn near perfect. Yeah? So, let's call it like 2 feet further back. This is your spacing. You do not want to be any closer to this hog than this, and you do not want to be any further than this hog than this. If he walks forward, we walk back. If he walks back, we walk forward, and we maintain this distance to the best of our ability at all times. And now we are actually outside of his effective range. He's doing less damage to us, and if we miss, we still shoot him. Because, like, look how big of an AoE is. This entire red bubble here, that is 30 damage, which isn't a ton, but it's free, and you basically can't miss. And look at how big it is. If they have a Reinhardt holding a shield, hey, buddy, if you're at max range, and you, like, here's the shield, and you shoot it just above and behind, like, the shield, that Rein takes the splash, and the shield takes the splash, so you're damaging them both, yeah? And watch this Rein, especially in gold, start to panic. Even though it's only 30 damage each time, watch him start to panic because he's taking damage while holding his shield up. And that's not supposed to happen. My shield's up. I said it in the Discord, but I'll say it here too. I finally managed to figure out how to, like, swoop in and do damage while repositioning on Diva. Lost my mech a lot less and got 45 limbs on a Nepal game. God damn, dude. Yes. Yeah, that one took me a while to really get a feel for too, but once you do, oh man. Cool. And like, things like we're saving our rock for that hog because that's the thing we can reliably rock. So that hog doesn't get to vape there. We had just already saved our rock instead of spamming it out. As soon as your hog lands the hook, you just start queuing up the rock. Because either he vapes immediately and you cancel it, or he doesn't and he blows up before he gets a chance to hit it.
The breakthrough was near. I could feel it.
Alright. Right now I'm mostly just looking to see if there's anything, like, new that I think we should talk about. Do you have any questions about anything specific? Or, like, any fights in here you want to go over, or, like, whatever? Because in, like, another minute, I'm probably just going to give you, like, a summary of things you should work on. Oh, that was so close, dude. Good. Honestly, so the suck was a mistake. You should have just kept shooting the Genji there, because, like, what were you going to suck? But, great attempt at the rock. I'm so glad you, like, tried to actually peel your team. You make a lot of good decisions. It's mostly your positioning is, like, by far the biggest thing, and then, like, some small micro things here and there. That gets the treatment. You're new to the stream. This is the treatment. We watched this in slow-mo because Jesus Christ. Oh! Ah, that was so good. Especially the flick down at the end because you know he's going to be dropping. Like, I say, that was a very, very smart rock. Done very well. Good job. I'm just trying to think if there's anything big I need to improve or if it's just playing more games to get out of gold. I haven't played a ton of tank this season. So it's, I mean, playing more games for sure, but it is mostly the positioning, by far. Get your positioning right, and then, like, your ability usage is already pretty good, and it'll get better over time. Just sort of on its own. Your aim is already pretty decent, and it'll get better over time, just sort of all on its own. Honestly, put all of your brain right now into positioning and timing, and then when you feel like you really have a grasp on that, then start putting brain power back into using your abilities to their absolute best. Yeah? Because like I said, there's some small things here and there you can be improving with your abilities, but for the most part, it's better than gold already. Like, it's your positioning that is gold. Legit. The rest of the mistakes that you make are small enough we could just talk about them later. They just don't really matter right now. Cool. So, like, right there, just to make sure this is knowledge and not instincts, yeah, because he did the right thing. As a just generally good habit, when you use your suck, back up with your suck, yeah? Because you're using it to get out alive. So a lot of low-rank SIGs will stand there eating damage and then leave when it ends. And that is a huge mistake I haven't seen from you. I just, since it's so common, I wanted to throw it out there to make sure this is knowledge and not instinct, yeah? More high ground and off angles? Yeah, exactly. And then the timing on when to split. So if you push an off angle, and, like, especially if you push it on your own, no one comes with you, whatever, and you die while you're there, it is either because you took it too soon or you held it too long, typically, yeah? This is a very fluid game, and I don't want you to fall into the trap of, oh, I just need to hold the spot, and now that I have the spot, we win. It's never that. It's spot to spot to spot to spot, moving around everywhere. Even when it's not an escort map, the game is always fluid and moving, yeah? So you want to, what you're looking for is, it's hard for them to get to you. If they do get to you, you can easily bait them into LOS of your team if you're not just already there. Yeah? So they enter open space against a bunch of people, they overextend into you if they come to get you. While you're there, you're at or near max range to be throwing out damage, and you have a good escape route back to your team if you need to. And what you're looking for is for them to push one side or the other. And if you see them, like, if you're here and you see this, I know we have wall hacks right now, but, like, they're all pushing into your team, then you would want to carefully, so they can't just kill you, but maybe come to this corner and start shooting them in the back as an idea. You pinch them between your team, and if they turn around on you, they're turning away from your team, and again, we have our cooldowns and an escape to cover. So you need to be drawing aggro away from people or killing them. Like a nice self-check. This isn't like 100% of the time, but, like, generally speaking, am I doing okay right now self-check is, did I get 2 or more people on the enemy team to turn around and look at me for a considerable amount of time while my team was trying to do things to them? Timing's important. Or did I get at least one kill because they had the arrogance to try to ignore me, yeah? And if you get one kill or get two people to turn around while your team is actively fighting them, and you don't die for that, you are by definition creating a man advantage. You will win not every fight, but the majority of your fights, yeah? It removes a lot of your need to just hard carry through fragging, yeah? Which sometimes you will still have to do. You will always sometimes have to do that, yeah? But it shouldn't be nearly as often. It won't be nearly as many games if you're doing this well. And that's how you kind of check in on yourself, yeah? Am I being annoying enough or am I fragging? Cool. There is so much nuance that can go into positioning. If you would like, I would love to see another VOD from you in like a week or two. Like, spend a week practicing and like trying these things and being self-critical. And I don't mean like in a mean way, oh my god, I'm so bad, fuck that shit. But in a, okay, this worked, but honestly, I think it was kind of dumb and it shouldn't have worked. I'm just against gold opponents. Or, okay, this didn't work, but I think it's because I fucked up my mechanics. I might try this again. Okay, it didn't work again. Maybe it's just a bad idea. So maybe I'll try this thing instead. And just keep that process going for like a week. And then drop another VOD, and I bet I'm looking at a different player. Like, honestly, it's single best thing you can do. And then, like I said, timing, we're looking for our team. We want to be drawing aggro away from them at opportune times. If you pop up early and get 2 or 3 people to look at you, and then, you know, after however long of shooting back and forth, you have to back out, and then your team pushes in right after, well, now your team's taking a 5v6. And that shit will happen all the time in gold because everyone in gold is bad. Like, we just kind of have to accept that. We're all learning, yeah? Yeah, so I'm trying to think if there was anything else, but yeah, experiment with your positioning and just know that typically off-angle high grounds are going to be your best friend. I'll send in another one for sure. I think I think for me, it's just understand nuance of positioning, playing with a main tank versus an off tank. Oh yeah. And there is a lot there. Just to give you like a quick summary. I don't want to go too deep into the weeds here, but a common mistake when you have double off tank comps, or I guess a common misconception about front lines, you don't need a front line. Front lines are an option, not a requirement, yeah? If you have a front line, you as Sig need to support that front line by drawing aggro. If away from them, yeah? Because, like, the front line is we're trying to get them to concentrate their fire towards this, so then I'm going to get some of it going this way instead, yeah? And between the two of you as tanks, if you do that well, you make an insane amount of space for your DPS to pop off. If you are just playing with an off tank, though, you are still drawing aggro away from your team, it's true, but your primary playstyle has to change to fragging, yeah? When you have a main tank, you can often, not always, but often, just effectively draw aggro and be good bait that never dies, yeah? Or a good pinch that can get in and also never dies. Double off tank, when you don't have that, everyone's paying for clicks. The strength of double off tank is it is an insane amount of damage. Holy shit, off tanks frag. And like, look at this. You got Genji, Reaper, Moira should be pretty survivable, Mercy should be pretty survivable and can damage boost. You're running a high damage comp. So standing still and trying to absorb damage from the enemy is a losing playstyle. But taking angles to surround them and just playing for picks will carry so many lobbies, because A, you kill things, and B, if you have like a whole bunch of different angles, like Hogs just randomly over here killing people, and you're popping up over here killing people, and you got the Genji over here, and etc., 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 everyone's just attacking different places, these poor bastards start to have a panic attack. Like, they just don't know where to fucking look. Even if all... Oop, wrong button. even if all 6 of you are horrifically bad at the game and missing every shot, they'll still start to panic and be like, shit, there's this hog. Oh my god, there's this sig. Oh my god, a fucking reaper. Yeah? And that's kind of what you're playing for. And it's weak in a super high level scrim environment because those people don't freak out. Yeah? They're coordinated. They've been practicing together for a long ass time. So that's why you never see double off tank in Owl, typically. But it can be incredibly strong in ranked. It can be incredibly strong in ranked, even in top 500. I like to call them chaos comps because that's kind of what you're doing. Cool. More aggressive off angles. Yep. So play faster and more aggressive with double off tank. Yeah. I want to caution faster in that, like, faster is usually going to be what you want. If you let them hit you first, it can be hard. But the nuance to that is things like, for example, this comp is just textbook anti-dive. All of you can either not be killed or be killed by or blow up dive. Sig's kind of the weakest one here, but if you're playing smart, dive just never gets to you, yeah? You got to be real careful with dive, because if they can get on you, you'll probably die. But you could look, even with a double off-tank comp, to play second. How do I explain this? The idea would be, for example, they have a Tracer that is just killing your Mercy, killing your Reaper, killing your Moira, like one by one. She's just in the backline killing things because we're off trying to get our own picks, and the Tracer's doing a better job of getting picks than we are, yeah? If the Tracer kills your Mercy, but you kill their Mercy and their BAP, then it's kind of okay to trade that way, yeah? But if they're doing a better job of getting picks, then maybe instead of going on that flank, you hide behind your team, and when the Tracer pops up, you kill the fucking Tracer. And then you walk forward and go for picks after that, yeah? Playing second can be insanely strong. It just has its own set of risks, yeah? So, playing faster, playing slower is going to depend. But really, it's this idea of, am I getting picks better than the other team? And if I'm not, do I think I personally can shut down the carry on their team? And if so, maybe you just wait for the carry to walk into you. Cool. Yeah, I'm going to call it there. That was just a whole bunch. But yeah, drop another VOD whenever. If you have any questions, please feel free. The Discord is hopping. If you want to jump in the Discord, you can ask questions there. Yeah.